I have my past, I have my baggage, I have a story etched in my hands. To it I cling, let it define me. But you and I know it is not who I am. I've made a me from moments so varied, molded and shaped, carved to survive. Covered the essence, padded and whitewashed. But you and I know this is not who I am. It's not who I am. The I that you see is not the I that is me. The I that is me is an angel of love. The I that is me truly believes that he will be free someday, 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 someday. Like the cocoon, I'm in transformation. Time to break out, time to fly high. Sure I could hold on, sure I could wallow. But you and I know this is not who I am. No, it's not who I am. The I that you see is not the I that is me. The I that is me is an angel of love. The I that is me truly believes that he will be free someday, 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 someday. Well, I'm walking next to me, I am there when I don't believe. I'm letting me find my own way. I'm there in a whispered breath saying yes you can, oh and yes you will. I'm there when I forget my name. Whoa, the I that you see is not the I that is me. The I that is me is an angel of love. The I that is me truly believes that he will be free someday. Yes, it's gonna be someday. Yes, it's gonna be someday. Yes, it's how about this day? Yes, it's gonna be this day. Yes, it's why not today? Yes, it's right now today. Time to break out and it's time to fly. Time to break out and it's time to fly. Time to fly away. Yeah, 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 yeah. I have my past, I have my baggage, I have a story etched in my hand. Ooh, yeah.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Unity of Bremerton Online. We're so happy you're here with us today via Zoom and YouTube. I want to remind those of you on Zoom that if you haven't already opened the group chat box, you can do that by hovering your little mouse there on the computer down toward the bottom. We've already got some messages going back and forth. Sally M wants to say hello to Jamie and Barb. So good morning, everybody. We're really glad to have everybody here. Our guest speaker today is Michael Bogart, and we're using online resources for music today.
Grateful for the life that I have. I am fully nourished by the life that I have. I am very grateful for the love that I give. I am fully nourished the love I receive. I'm happy, healthy, and whole. You're happy, healthy, and whole. We're all happy, healthy, and whole, and all connected in spirit. God loves us just as we are, adores us just as we are. We all are worthy and loved. Rise up and cheer it. I am very grateful for the friends nourished by the friends in my life. I am very grateful for the journey that I'm on. I am fully nourished by the journey that I'm on. I'm happy, healthy, and whole. You're happy, healthy, and whole. We're all happy, healthy, and whole, and all connected in spirit. God loves us just as we are, adores us just as we are. We all are worthy and loved. Rise up and cheer it. I am very grateful for my whole life experience. I am fully nourished by my whole life experience. I am very grateful to be living in the spirit. I am fully nourished by living in the spirit. I am very grateful to be living in the spirit. I am fully nourished just to know I'm part of it all.
All right, and that was our very own David Duval. And for those of you that may not know, he also has his own YouTube channel. So just search for David Duval, and he's got a lot of his music that's done at places other than church. And he's got some great collections of all kinds of really cool music. So check him out sometime. So now we'll do the lighting of the Christ candle. And this candle represents the divine light within each of us. And our mission statement: we are a welcoming community supporting our mutual quest for spiritual truth.
And our invocation: there is one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotence. And now for our daily word in honor of Marilyn. I contribute to peace in the world. When I learn of conflict in my community or in the world, my response may be frustration, sadness, or anger. If I have those feelings, I remember that I am more than merely human. I am a living expression of God, heir to all that God is. I use my divine faculties of wisdom, understanding, and love to create the abiding peace that is my birthright. Centered in divine peace, I realize that every person is as much an expression of God as I am. As differences dissolve in a way that transcends human understanding, I come to know oneness with all the world's people. I let this realization shape my response to every person and every situation. In an awareness of my oneness with all people, my thoughts, words, and actions contribute to peace in the world. From John chapter 17, verse 22, the glory that you have given me, I have given them, so that they may be one as we are one.
Thank you, Laura. All right, for Unity Happenings, next Sunday, our guest speaker will be Reverend Michael Gregory. He's taking us back to the basics and is going to be talking about the first Unity principle. We also want to share with you that we are continuing our monthly special gift for donations program. Every time you make a donation by mailing in your check or making a donation online through our website using PayPal, we will put your name in a drawing for a special gift. All donations submitted for the month of April are eligible for this first drawing that will take place on May 10th. We will notify the winner by phone call, and we will announce the winner in the eBlast newsletter. And then one of the board members will deliver that special gift to the recipient, practicing, of course, appropriate social distancing at this point. But please continue to make your donations, and we're going to continue that until we can see each other again in person. So please check that out, and we'll provide more details later in our presentation this morning.
I am at ease, I am at peace, I am serene, I'm as God made me. The wind is calm everywhere I go, with the quiet strength that sings within me, I can trust the rhythmic flow. I am at ease, I am at peace, I am serene, I'm as God made me. The wind is calm everywhere I go, with the quiet strength that sings within me, I can trust the rhythmic flow. I am at ease. God made me. The wind is calm everywhere I go, with the quiet strength that sings within me, I can trust the rhythmic flow. I am at ease, I am at peace, I am serene, I'm as God made me. The wind is calm everywhere I go, with the quiet strength that sings within me, I can trust the rhythmic flow. I am at ease.
And now our guest speaker, Michael Bogar.
Am I here? Can you hear me?
Now we hear you.
All right, good. I had everything muted here. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our service. Who sang that song about ego and the butterfly and all of that? Did anybody know the title of that song? Or the
That first one that we played?
Yeah,
That's Mark Stanton Welch.
I love it.
Good. I thought that might be appropriate for today.
I thought you picked it because of the topic, yes?
Yes, that's correct.
You're brilliant. Thank you. All right, so we're going to talk today. Let me put the PowerPoint slides up here and we'll jump in. Oh boy, why have I got so many choices here? Hopefully that one does it. Does that show up?
It's starting to. It says you've started screen sharing. We'll give it a second to pop in.
Okay. Tell me when you see the title. Is it showing up?
Not yet.
It
says double click to enter full screen mode.
Oh, let's see. Your screen sharing is paused. It doesn't seem to give me I think the option might be on your side. No?
All right, we're checking on our end.
Or let's see, resume share.
Did you share your screen or your PowerPoint?
I just turned the share on. Well, let me stop the share and try it again.
You should have your slideshow running and then do a share of your slideshow.
Let's try this one. All right. Is it there?
Yep, we see it.
We see it now.
Yay. Okay. So the title is 4 Soul-Making Responses to the Coronavirus, and I have them all. That is the responses. This idea came to me a few weeks ago when this all started, and on Facebook, I had friends who were constantly battling over the coronavirus and its existence. Some of them were saying this virus is good for us. Others were saying this virus is the worst thing that could happen. It's awful. And then they would kind of fight about it. And in my imagination, I found them probably also thinking, maybe he's right. Maybe he's right. So passing through a soul-making world requires multiple perspectives and opinions. And the important word here is requires multiple perspectives and opinions. It's one thing to say that theoretically, but when the crap hits the fan and you've got really tough stuff going on in the culture, whether it's coronavirus, political opinions, religious opinions, whatever, this is where the test comes in. Do we really, really believe that this world requires multiple perspectives and opinions? So I'm suggesting in a soul-making world, these conflictual points of view are how individual souls are made. In other words, that's why we're here. All this other stuff that goes on, we all know is going away. I'm taking care of my 94-year-old father right now who is dying very, very slowly. And as I see it, I see him letting go of all the things that he's accumulated emotionally, mentally, materially. And he's realizing more and more that what he's left with as he withers away, the body withers away, is the soul that he has made. So I'm suggesting that all these different perspectives that we have in this world, that's why we're here, is to encounter these different points of view in order to make a unique soul. So we've got all these images here. Fox News versus MSNBC, left versus right, Nancy versus Donald, Christianity versus the New Age movement. And we could multiply this list of conflicts. The Dalai Lama was once asked, why are there so many different groups or sects of Buddhism if Buddhists believe in unity? And the Dalai Lama answered very simply with that big smile that he always has, stages and dispositions. And in that little short statement, what he's saying is there's so much disunity and conflict in Buddhism, even in Buddhism, because every individual and every group is in a different stage, and each person has a different soul disposition at any given moment. So even the Dalai Lama recognizes that awakening requires vast differences within us and between us. Jesus said the same thing in this parable in Mark chapter 4. He said, God's kingdom is like a seed. I call it a soul seed, thrown on a field by a man who goes to bed and forgets about it. This is sort of like God threw the seeds of soul into this world and then left us here in the seed plot called earth. These seeds, each of us is that seed, sprouts and grows. We don't know how it happens. The earth, and here I'm talking about the earth as the soil of soul making, the earth does it all without the help of the individual. In other words, this soul making process, most of it's going on just by our encounters throughout this life experience from birth to death. And then Jesus talks about the literal seed. It says in the literal agricultural world, first there's a green stem of grass, then a bud, then the ripened grain. When the harvest is fully formed, he reaps. It's harvest time. So Jesus is suggesting that there's differences, not only in a growing seed or a butterfly, worm changing into a butterfly, as that song we heard a few minutes ago suggested, but that each of us is that seed, and these differences, these different perspectives that we have about so many things are why we're here. In another place, Jesus said in a very short little parable, he said, there's a necessity for both what I'm calling conservative wisdom and progressive ideas and ideals. This is how Jesus put it. Then you see how every student well-trained in God's kingdom is like the owner of a general store. This is the Message Bible's paraphrase. Owner of a general store who can put his hands on anything you need, old or new, exactly when you need it. Some translations say, a householder, a person who owns a home, has stuff in his home or her home that's old, stuff that they really love, they're not going to throw away. It's old stuff they're conserving. That's the conservative wisdom. And they have new things in their home that they just bought on Amazon and they're, just arrived in the mail. That's the new stuff, the progressive stuff. So Jesus is saying that we need all of this stuff in our consciousness, in our souls, the old stuff, the conservatives, and the new stuff, the progressives. Hard to see sometimes. Walt Whitman put it like this: do I contradict myself? Very well then, I contradict myself. I am large. I contain multitudes. All kinds of selves in me. This is how Gurdjieff, the European mystic, put it. And this is why I love that song that Cindy chose. He said, humans have no individual I. That is, there's no just single I in us. But there are instead hundreds and thousands of separate small I's. Say that to your friend sometime. One of my egos said, this is the perspective we're suggesting, that we have many egos. He says there are instead hundreds and thousands of separate small I's, very often entirely unknown to one another, never coming into contact, or on the contrary, hostile to each other. That is, each of us within our own selves have opinions, ideas, perspectives that fight with each other, whether we're conscious of it or not. He says each minute, each moment, every person is saying or thinking I, and each time his, her, or her I is different. Just now it was a thought, now a desire, now a sensation, now another thought, and so on, endlessly. A human is a plurality. Human's name is legion. Again, there's many different selves and perspectives in us at any given time. In Facebook, typically what happens, or, conversations, is oftentimes one of those selves dominates in the conversation. We see this with a partner, with our children, with friends, with politics. And then, later we may find ourselves having a thought, well, maybe that wasn't entirely the truth. Maybe there's more to it. A fairly recent book, the last 10 years or so, Rita Carter, Multiplicity. And you notice the book cover has all these little outlets with different faces on them. And in this, she's arguing that we all consist of multiple characters. Each one its own viewpoint, emotions, and ambitions, differences. So be very careful, she says, about labeling our inconsistencies as multiple personality disorders. Maybe there's order in that disorder. Maybe those selves in us that conflict, that doubt, that self-reflect, they go, well, maybe that person I just got so pissed off at has a point. All of these different selves dwell within us. That's how souls are made. We could not become unique individuals if we didn't have those inner inconsistencies and struggles that go on to sculpt us into someone unique. She says, for example, the mother feeding her children has quite different concerns and opinions than the woman taking part in a boardroom discussion 2 hours later, or the woman with her partner that night in the bedroom. Thank God those many different selves show up in different ways in different situations. All three of these perspectives may share the same body, but none is any more authentic than the other. So when she's suggesting here, and this perspective I'm sharing suggests that when we speak of our authentic self, there's something to that. I mean, there's a point there, but there's also a point to we probably have many authentic selves. And I think this is one of the problems in our religious and political debates is we start to think I can only be one authentic self and you're a different authentic self and I can't grasp, being more than just one authentic self. Maybe we're several authentic selves. So in this view, the human soul is more like a play. That is, each of us is more like a theater with many actors learning from each other throughout this play. I'm not going to go through this and read this, but I'm just going to share that Scott Peck talks about this in The Different Drum. He talks about the 4 different perspectives. There's the ego perspective, the initial stage of development, where I, basically learn to survive by becoming a self-serving individual. It's the way babies start out. Nothing wrong with that until there is. Scott Peck says that we outgrow that, or it comes to an end, and we move into what I'm calling tribal relationships, where we have a perspective on life where we start to look at the group. Still an ego, I still have the first perspective, but now I've added a perspective. I'm able to see my partner, my children, my political party, my religious group, or whatever. Here I'm adding another perspective, and I can have both of those perspectives at one time. I can be very self-obsessed and other-obsessed in the same time, at the same moment. Peck says, then we add a third perspective, which is the analytical disintegration perspective. We all have this. This is where I start to reflect and go, maybe I am wrong. Maybe I need to change. Or we self-reflect on the relationships we're in. Maybe I need to leave this job. Maybe I need to do something about this marriage or this, with these children. Maybe my political party isn't perfect. This third perspective goes on. We can have all three of these simultaneously. And then he says there's a fourth perspective, and our unity churches are focused more on this fourth perspective, rightly, mystical surrender. This is a perspective that says, well, maybe I'm not just an ego. Maybe I'm not just my tribal relationships or partisan ideas. Maybe I'm not just disintegrating. Maybe I need to surrender this whole package to the Infinite One and find some peace. And then I'll go back to my ego, my relationships, and my disintegrations. So it's not like typically we don't do the mystical surrender and then float off into the ethers with a halo and a harp. Typically, this fourth perspective just allows us to look at these other perspectives through different eyes. So typically all 4 of these perspectives are going on at any given moment during the day or the week. So one may hold at least 4 different views of the coronavirus situation. And here I'm just going to suggest from my own personal experience what those might look like. And then I'll open it up to any questions or comments. I can simultaneously hold 4 different ideas about this coronavirus situation. The ego self, the ego perspective says, I don't want to die. I don't want to lose all my money as the stock market or whatever the economy crashes. Please, God, keep me safe. This is a valid perspective, and many of us look at it from this perspective. I don't want to die. I don't want to get sick. I don't want to lose my income. A valid perspective, but it's not the only one. A second perspective I can have is in the tribal or the relational perspective, relational ego, tribal ego. I need to do what is best for the group. I'll wear the mask, I'll social distance. I'll do all the things that will keep us all safe. So this perspective is valid too. I want to take care of my family. I want to take care of my partner. I want to take care of my employees. We can hold both of these perspectives. I don't want to die. I want to help take care of others. We can also hold, or I can also hold, a third perspective at the same time. I think this is all a bunch of bullshit created by politicians and the media, and I can almost become conspiratorial in my thinking. This is crazy. What are we on this lockdown for? I think we're going way, way overboard. A fourth perspective. Now, if I share this perspective with somebody who's focusing on the tribal perspective, we're going to get into a debate, and that's fine. I'm not saying we shouldn't have debates, but I think we can sort of moderate our experiences in these debates if we can say, I see your perspective. I think I need to do what is best for the group, and I also have some doubts about this. Do you want to hear my doubts? If they say no, I shut up. Another perspective. And then I also have a fourth perspective. I do the best as I can see it and turn it over to God. It's all good. It's all going to be okay. I surrender. That doesn't mean I've surrendered my ego perspective, my tribal perspective, or my doubts. It's just that I decide to go sit in this circle for a while and just rest from the insanity that can come from the worry, from the social distancing, from all the stuff that comes along. So I can move in and out of these four circles, sometimes within 30 seconds, because I contain multitudes. I am large, as Whitman says. All these perspectives are there. And they're there for the purpose of making a unique soul within me and between us. Last slide. Tolerance. With all this in mind, and we've gone through it fairly quickly, but that's the nature of the beast. Tolerance is not merely putting up with the idiots who are wrong, whether it's on Facebook, on the news, Democrats, Republicans, fundamentalist Christians, and New Agers. It's not just putting up with the idiots who are wrong. I'm suggesting tolerance is seeing that God has made many people with different perspectives in order to create many unique individuals. Doesn't mean I can't debate with them. It doesn't mean I can't have arguments with them. But if I have the debates and the arguments, if I can frame that within this bigger worldview that says we're going to debate this, but ultimately, at the end of the debate, I still see you as a human being making a soul with just different perspective than I do, and we're all making souls together. That's tolerance. It's just that not just with putting up with the idiots, it's seeing that each of us is a unique person, and to tolerate that uniqueness is to say, there's more than just my way of seeing it. Each of us has something to learn from the other. And that's all I have to say this morning about that. So let's open it for questions or the final prayer and offering. Anybody have anything? Let me turn my little chat thing on here as I get out of the... Let's see. From Cindy to everyone. So this seems to explain anxiety and why we struggle with our own thoughts and trying to navigate what is going on outside of ourselves. Can you say a little more about that, Cindy? Would you?
Well, even for myself this past week, I found myself getting overwhelmed with a lot of not only what I'm thinking and going through and the various emotions I'm feeling, because I'm still teleworking. Mark's still working in the office most of the time. I go in the office one day a week, but teleworking from home. And so I don't have some of the issues like some of the people that have been quarantined and they're frustrated because they can't go anywhere and do anything. So I have different issues that I'm struggling with, but I can also feel what some of my friends feel that they're going through and what I'm going through. And then you get the media involved, and it's no wonder, it's hard to turn off all that noise inside my head.
Yeah. You're right, especially with all the communication that we have, and in the human race, this is a unique phenomenon to have these cell phones, these computers, these televisions, these radios, this information that just floods us with all these different soul-making perspectives. No wonder, the antidepressants and the therapists are swamped. Thank you, Cindy. Let's see, I've got Barbara and Colin. I'm not sure which of you wrote this, but it says, it's amazing to me that your ways of looking at life, 4 stages, 4 perspectives, can easily transfer over to looking at the coronavirus phenomenon. It gives me hope that we can move to stage 4. Is this the intent? I would love to hear what you have to say about that. Do you think this is the intent?
Why don't you sign your name?
I'm gonna try to share my video. I don't have enough light on, so I'm just gonna be a dark silhouette. Hi, everybody.
You look like you're out in the wilderness.
I used a Zoom screen background, virtual background.
Got it.
And it's a place in Texas called Enchanted Rock that I like to use for my Unity Church Zoom sessions.
Like it.
Because it's a magical place. What I'm saying is, I don't know how you hit the nail on the head every time with me, Michael, but you do. I'm feeling all those stages at once, more stage 1, 2, and 3. Egotistically, I feel sad and bad about the impending kind of hopelessness and financial problems. I do my part with social distancing, though I haven't gone out and given. I have given a little bit of money, and sometimes I think I do go down into the trenches of despair in the stage 3 anguish and all. But every once in a while I get little tiny hopes of coming through it all to stage 4. So I'm thinking that you look at the bigger picture, which brings the stage 4 into things, and I thank you for that. And that's just my take of it. That I assume that's your intention to bring us through this, sort of see the hope.
Yes, that's one intention. It's a big intention, and I think that's what the Unity movement is about, is to focus on that stage 4 piece. So people come here on Sundays to get that perspective. But it's also my intention is to let us see that it's normal to have those other perspectives. That we're not less spiritual because we have those other perspectives. That's God moving, in my opinion, as Jesus said with the seed going through the different stages. That is God showing up as ego, God showing up as the tribal, God showing up as the analytical. So the intention is to give us hope, but it's also to give us some comfort in recognizing that all those perspectives are necessary and something's happening during the seed's growing, even in those other perspectives.
Hello? Hello? Hi. Hey, I'd like to add something quickly. First of all, I love your Venn diagram. I think that so establishes the whole perspective so nicely.
Yeah, that's my brain on Venn.
There you go. I know. Well, I did a lot of teaching with the Venn, so I think it helps people see clearly how they tie in.
Yeah.
What I liked also about what you were saying is the fact that it's not like we're going to get to this ultimate 4th stage and hallelujah, and then nothing else comes in. I like the multiplicity of how you were saying we can be, our ego can be all in this different chatter.
Yeah.
And yet to recognize, and hopefully that the more we chatter, the more we realize, oh, I am chattering.
Yeah.
Kind of bring power to what we want. Yep. So thank you, Michael.
You're welcome. Thank you. And that participatory piece, I think, again, is what Unity is so good at, is to show us that we're not victims of those other 3 stages. They're necessary, but I get to consciously participate in saying, wait, I'm moving out of this insanity, maybe necessary insanity, but I'm choosing to take a rest from it.
Yeah. And I think it's good for us to know as different areas or subjects or topics come up in our mind or in our lives, that we just go cycling all through that again, and that's okay. Doesn't mean you haven't learned something.
Yeah, and again, I'm suggesting that those other perspectives are given to us to eventually show us that we can do something with them. We're not just victims being put in the straitjacket of these other perspectives.
Yeah.
They're there to give us the choice to do something with them.
I like your words. I like what you're saying. And I think there's a lot of truth and power in that. So
yeah,
keep on keeping on, please.
Anyone else? Thank you, guys. I love that. Anybody else have what came to mind as you listen to this, or what conclusions, additions, subtractions? Anyone? All right, let's see. What do I have here? What big changes may come from all this? From Barbara and Colin. Man, I don't know. I mean, I think there will be some changes. I honestly don't know the answer to that question right now. It would be pure speculation. Could go, it could plunge us into a deep depression. It could plunge us into a remarkable recovery. I suspect somewhere maybe between the two, and different for each individual.
Can we add to that?
Anyone else? All right, Cindy, I think we're done.
All right, Michael, well, thank you very much, as usual. Gives us lots to think about. Oh, Debbie Clay chimed in. Beyond this topic, did you want to speak, Debbie, or you want me to read it?
Yeah, I just wanted to say this is a good topic, of course, but beyond the intellectual exercise, I'm seeking to stay open and watchful in the events unfolding, because, spirit might have a totally different agenda than we think is unfolding at this point. And meanwhile, when I am able to, I'm seeking to help friends and neighbors who need help. For instance, the friend who's elderly and can't get out to go to the grocery store, maybe I can help by bringing them groceries from time to time, things like that.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's a perspective. That's that second perspective that says, I'm not going to just be self-absorbed. I'm going to go out and do something to help other people. So yes, thank you for that addition. That's exactly what I'm sharing. Anyone else? Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Michael.
Oh, it's somewhere and it's sometime, an unfamiliar trail, a hope for a destination, a half-lived fairy tale, and I'm on the road, and the feeling lights my way. No matter what unfolds, I'll be okay. And the highway pulls me onward, I'm beckoned by the moon. There's an answer in here somewhere, everything's a clue, and I am on the road. And though a part of me it kicks and screams too, I know no matter what, I'll be okay. All the traveling, it's lonely, it's forever at this wheel. I relive some lost affection as I search for something real, and I'm on the road. Oh, I just might lose my way, but I know no matter what, I'll be okay. Oh, I'll be okay. I'll be okay. Is this the promise of tomorrow?
Is this the promise of tomorrow?
Is this the future's luring call? Is this my ticket to the golden gate of heaven? Or just my last hurrah? All the miles move like clockwork, and there's nothing to impede. I'm trusting in God's highway, I'm moving at full speed, and I'm on the road, and this could be my perfect day, for I know no matter what, I'll be okay. Oh, it's people and its places, it's the highway's haunting song, it's the wisdom of experience that pulls this man along. And I'm on the road, and all that I can say is I know no matter what, I'll be okay. I will be I'll be okay. I will be, yeah, I'll be okay. I will be okay. I'll be okay. I will be okay. Oh, it's somewhere and it's sometime, an unfamiliar trail, a hope for a destination, a half-lit fairy tale.
Now is our time for offertory. As you are preparing your tithes and love offerings today, think about how blessed you are, and as you are writing your check or giving your gift, send your blessings out. We have two ways for you to send your gift to Unity of Bremerton. You can mail your gift to us. Our address is P.O. Box 2218, Bremerton, Washington 98310, or you can go to our website, www.unitybremerton.org, and click on the Make a Donation tab.
And now, our offertory blessing. Divine love in and through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
All right, so does anybody have any good news they'd like to share? We do have a comment on our YouTube folks here that says, I really appreciate the reminder of being invited to think in spiral motion versus linear thinking. And as we control, recycle through this motion, opportunity to gain wisdom, strength, and hope. So that is a very, very good thought to share along with the rest of the group. As far as I know, the good news I'd like to share is, as far as I know from our group and our tribe, that I don't know of anyone who's been directly affected yet in a negative way from this virus experience. So I'm very happy and grateful for that. If you do know of someone who may need prayer support, you can definitely reach out to us, and we'd be happy to support them in affirmative prayer. We do have a number of ways to do that. We've shared some information on our Facebook page, so if you're not following that, or if you want to check it out, we do have some good information there should you need any kind of prayer support locally, or by taking the number for Silent Unity, who is available. They're not 24/7 at this point, also because of the COVID-19 thing, but they're available most of the time. You can reach them by email or phone or leave a message. So there are options out there. Don't feel that you're ever alone. We have a number of ways to reach out. So please do if you feel the need. And now our peace song. And together, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.